Hey everybody, it's Amy Head with New Perspectives for Life in Marietta, Georgia. Today is Thursday, October 30th, 2014, and it is Halloween Eve. Tomorrow on Friday is Halloween, and I hear from the weather reports that across the country it's going to be one of the coldest Halloweens in years in some states, and I think it's going to be a little chilly here for us too, so we'll be excited to see what that's going to bring. But thinking about Halloween, I don't know if you guys celebrate it a lot, if you decorate, if you take kids trick-or-treating, or if you stay home and pass out candy and see all the cool costumes that come through. But Halloween is a lot of fun for a lot of people, and it's one of the few holidays where it's a good thing to have things that are scary or spooky or frightful. You know, there's haunted houses, there are scary costumes. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever seen or been trick-or-treating, you'll come up to a house and it looks like there's like a stuffed person kind of sitting against a tree, and then before you know it they get up and jump out at you and scare you, and it's actually a real person. And so Halloween is one of the few holidays or times of the year where I think people, you know, a lot of times actually look forward to the fear factor, to being scared, being frightened, the spookiness of it. Generally, day to day, I'm not sure most of us would say that we look forward to fearful things or to being scared or being frightened, but for Halloween, I think it's okay. A lot of times, you know, kids will wear really cute costumes or sweet costumes, but then there's definitely some scary ones out there too. So we see a lot that has to do with fear and fright and spooky and scary at Halloween, but not necessarily during our regular daily lives. It's not normally something that we look forward to. However, it is something that many people experience on a daily basis. Fear, anxiety, worry, feeling threatened. This is something that is very common and normal for a lot of people. A lot of my clients that I've been working with this week have that going on for them as well. Some of them to the point where their fear or their worry or their anxiety is actually keeping them from being productive, keeping them from functioning, keeping them from doing things in their daily lives. It's keeping them sort of paralyzed. So when we think about fear from that standpoint, it's not really something fun, it's not really something that we get excited about or look forward to. It's actually something that can really weigh heavily on our daily lives and on our daily functioning and just on how we feel and think about ourselves. So one of the strategies that I use with folks in my counseling practice that I thought I would share with you today in case it's helpful for you, if you struggle with fear or worry or anxiety, or if you know somebody that does, one of the strategies that I talk with folks about is giving fear or worry or anxiety a place in your daily life, but not the place in your daily life. For example, for some of these folks, fear and worry basically overtake their daily life, and they can't really get anything accomplished because they're kind of always waiting for the next shoe to drop, they're waiting for the phone call, they're waiting for the next piece of bad news, or they're just waiting in fear that something's going to happen that's going to be bad. So that keeps them from joy, that keeps them from a fulfilling life, that keeps them from just doing anything productive. So what we talk about is, you know, the fear is not going to go anywhere. It will be there. So we can pretty much have that as a guarantee. We don't have to worry that our fear and our worry will leave. It will be there. It has found a home in our lives. So what we want to do, though, is put a little bit of boundary around it so that it can be in our lives, but it doesn't have to rule every moment and every aspect of our lives. And one of the strategies that I use, which might sound kind of silly, but I have found it to be very helpful with people, especially initially when they're afraid to let go of their fear, is to say, all right, let's talk about your day. Typically, what does your day look like? And they might say, well, in the morning, it's kind of just unstructured, and then in the afternoon, I have to deal with my kids or cook dinner or help with homework. But so I kind of have the morning until maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock kind of unstructured, and then after the kids go to bed, kind of unstructured. Okay, great. So we don't have to really think too much about when the kids get home until bedtime, because that's pretty much, you're functioning somewhat because you got to take care of them, right? Or you have to deal with things in the house. Okay, let's look at the morning. Let's look at from when you wake up and get the kids out of the house to when they come home. Okay, and this could be for somebody who is working outside the home, because even people who are holding down jobs, it doesn't mean that they're free of fear and worry pretty much 24/7. They just have a way of maybe being able to cover it up. So what I like to say is, let's put a little bit of a time limit on the worry or fear, maybe even just 1 or 2 days a week. And again, this sounds minimalistic, but for someone who is overcome by their worry or fear, this is a huge step a lot of times. All right, so let's go ahead and just say, when you wake up, when you get your day going, you are just going to spend time worrying. Just be afraid, be fearful, be worried, be anxious. Do all of that and just do it. Don't even worry about that. Do it. Be fearful, be worried, be anxious. For about, let's say 2 hours. So let's say maybe from 7:30 till 9:30 or 10, 2.5 hours. Worry. Spend all that time. Don't really do much. Don't plan much. Just plan to be fearful and worried. Okay? Then around 9:30 or 10, let's think about taking a break from the fear and worry to be productive or to do something that you need or want to do. We don't have to eliminate the fear or worry. It's going to wait there. We're just going to put like a little boundary around it. We're going to leave it there for just about an hour. Doesn't have to be long, even 30 minutes if an hour seems too much, to go be productive. Maybe to run some errands, maybe to get those emails done at work that you really needed to focus on that you couldn't because you were worrying so much. Just take an hour. If you have to, set a timer, put a timer on your phone, whatever you need to do. But take 1 hour away from the work of worrying and being fearful and anxious. When that hour's up, you get to go back to being worried and fearful and anxious. So what happens is, you're going to be consumed by this anyway because you have been. But we're going to kind of take a little break from the consumption to put some power back in your hands for just an hour. And then you can go back and worry and be fearful and anxious until it's time to take care of the kids from that afternoon, early evening period. And then in the evening, when the kids go back to bed, it might be hard to take an hour break because there's not that many hours left. But tell yourself, let's decide on a time, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Again, worry as you need to, then decide, in about an hour, I'm going to take 15 to 30 minutes, put that boundary around the fear, worry, and anxiety, be productive, get something accomplished, and then come back to the fear, worry, and anxiety. What this does is, as much as it might seem kind of strange, it actually puts the person in charge of when they're going to worry, when they're going to be afraid, when they're going to be anxious. Otherwise, they have no power at this point, and that worry and anxiety and fear is completely in charge of that person. So by setting very minimal boundaries initially, it is beginning to build within a sense of power that, okay, I can worry for 3 hours in the morning if I need to, but then I can take an hour break because I need to or want to, and then I can go back to the worry. Nothing major is going to change. The worry and fear will still be there, but I get some time to get some stuff done too. Eventually, the goal is to extend the periods of break and the periods of boundary around the fear, anxiety, and worry, so that even if we don't eliminate them, we establish a better sense of balance. But what's really happening is the person is reestablishing power in their lives. That person is reestablishing the power within his or her life. And that is the ultimate goal. Because once that person begins to feel powerful again, they begin to accomplish things, they begin to see productivity in their lives again, and they don't feel as overcome and powerless by the worry, fear, and anxiety. So as you're on this Halloween Eve and as you're getting ready for Halloween festivities, if you are, and thinking about frightfulness and fear and spookiness and all that stuff, I hope this will be helpful for you to think about, if it's helpful for you or somebody that you know, that when we are consumed by fear, anxiety, or worry, let's acknowledge it and let's experience it, but let's also strive to begin putting some boundaries around it so that we can take our power back. Thanks so much for joining me, Amy Head, New Perspectives for Life in Marietta, Georgia. I hope you have a great Halloween Eve, a great Halloween night, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much.